The story of Emily Carter is a testament to human resilience, the persistence of a mother, the diligence of an unwavering detective, and the eventual triumph of truth over decades of uncertainty. Justice, though delayed by time and circumstance, arrived, a quiet reminder that even in darkness, light can be found. Ridgefield remembers Emily Carter not only for the tragedy that took her, but for the courage, hope, and determination that brought her story full circle. And each spring, when a white rose blooms at Cedar Lake, it carries with it the memory of a daughter lost, a town transformed, and justice served at last. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories. This is Shadows of Justice. Now, let's begin.
Ridgefield, Oregon, a town small enough for everyone to know each other's business, but large enough to believe nothing truly terrible could ever happen there. On May 21, 2000, the Ridgefield Community Center gleamed under the glow of paper lanterns and camera flashes. It was prom night, the kind of night that feels like the end of childhood and the beginning of everything else. 18-year-old Emily Carter stood among her friends in a shimmering blue dress that caught every glint of the disco lights. Her laugh, sharp, bright, and unrestrained, carried above the music. She had been voted most likely to brighten your day in the yearbook, and tonight she lived up to the title effortlessly. Her best friend Megan said later that Emily seemed almost too happy that night, like she was trying to soak in every second before it was gone. Just after midnight, as the DJ announced the final song, Emily hugged her friends, grabbed her purse, and promised, "I'll text when I get home." It was a simple promise, one nearly every senior made that night. But Emily Carter would never send that message. At 12:17 a.m., Granny's surveillance footage from the community center showed her walking toward the parking lot. The footage was old, the timestamp flickering in the corner like a faulty heartbeat. She appeared calm, unhurried, her heels clicking softly against the pavement. Behind her, faint but visible, a figure followed. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark jacket. The camera cut off moments later. It was the last time anyone saw Emily alive. When Emily didn't come home, her mother, Susan Carter, assumed she'd stayed at a friend's house. By morning, that comfort dissolved into dread. Her blue Honda Civic was found at the edge of Cedar Lake Forest, a place teenagers often whispered about but rarely entered after dark. The driver's door was ajar, keys still dangling in the ignition. Her purse set neatly on the passenger seat, and beside it, a single white rose, identical to the one on her corsage. No sign of struggle, no footprints, no tire marks, nothing but stillness and the whispering of pine trees over the lake. By 9 a.m., Ridgefield police were on the scene. The air was cool, heavy with morning fog. Officers taped off the area as curious locals gathered behind the barricades. Reporters soon arrived, and so did panic. Ridgefield had never seen a missing persons case of this magnitude. Everyone was asking the same question: where was Emily Carter? Sheriff's Deputy Tom Wallace, one of the first responders, later said it didn't look like a runaway. It looked like someone just vanished. The first 48 hours were chaos. Hundreds volunteered to search the surrounding forest. Helicopters hovered over Cedar Lake, sending ripples across its black surface. Divers scoured the water, combing the depths for any sign of Emily. Police dogs traced her scent from the parking lot to the forest's edge, and then it disappeared. Detectives began canvassing every inch of Ridgefield, the community center, nearby roads, gas stations, diners. They questioned classmates, friends, teachers, even the prom chaperones. Nobody had seen her leave with anyone. Nobody noticed the man in the dark jacket. And then came the message. At 12:23 a.m., just 6 minutes after Emily was last seen, her phone received a text from an unknown number.
I know what you did. The word sent a chill through investigators. The number traced back to a prepaid flip phone purchased with cash. Untraceable. No caller ID, no location data. It was as if the sender had vanished into thin air, just like Emily. Detectives wondered, was this a threat, a prank, or something more personal? Someone Emily knew. The first suspect was Ryan Parker, Emily's ex-boyfriend. He had left prom early after an argument about getting back together. Ryan was defensive, angry, and visibly shaken when questioned. He told police, "I didn't do anything to her. Yeah, we argued, but she was fine when I left." His alibi checked out. He'd been seen at a late-night diner with friends until after 1 a.m. Then came the whispers about Mr. Dalton, a substitute teacher rumored to have crossed boundaries with female students. He denied ever contacting Emily outside of school. With no evidence to the contrary, detectives were forced to move on. Every promising lead seemed to evaporate, leaving behind only speculation and fear. Within days, the case consumed Ridgefield. Emily's photo, bright smile, blue prom dress, was plastered on street poles, store windows, and car windshields. Candlelight vigils filled the park. Her mother appeared on local news, her voice trembling. "Please, if anyone knows where my daughter is, please bring her home." But the days turned into weeks, and every call that came in, every alleged sighting, every rumor, every psychic's vision led to nowhere. By June, more than 500 tips had been logged. Detectives chased all of them. None broke the case. The last confirmed trace of Emily Carter remained that single, haunting piece of footage. A girl walking into the night, followed by a shadow.
The disappearance of Emily Carter transformed Ridgefield from a sleepy Oregon town into a place haunted by its own silence. What had once been a close-knit community became a grid of suspicion and whispered theories. Every face carried a question. Every late-night light in a neighbor's house became something sinister. At the Ridgefield Police Department, the case file already had its own table. Maps pinned with colored tacks, photos of the community center, and an enlarged print of the grainy footage showing Emily's last known steps. The shadowy figure trailing behind her loomed like a ghost over every conversation. Detective Alan Mercer, the lead investigator at the time, had handled missing persons before, but never like this. "Usually you get a trail," he said years later, "a phone record, a car movement, a witness. But Emily's case, it was like someone had erased her." In the first week, Ridgefield held nightly search parties. Teenagers who once laughed at ghost stories now moved through the forest with flashlights, shouting Emily's name into the dark. Parents followed behind, their voices breaking with fear. Local businesses donated bottled water, sandwiches, and flashlights. The Ridgefield Gazette printed daily updates, every edition fronted by Emily's smiling prom photo, eyes bright, as if she were still watching from the page. At home, Susan Carter barely slept. Her husband, Michael, tried to keep order, to keep hope alive, but every time the phone rang, their hearts stopped. "You never get used to that sound," Susan recalled years later. "Every ring felt like it could be the call that saved us or destroyed us." The community center parking lot, once a scene of music and laughter, became a place of dread. Flowers and candles surrounded the spot where Emily's car had been found. Strangers knelt beside them, whispering prayers. The white rose that lay in her passenger seat became the symbol of her mystery, beautiful, delicate, and unexplainable. Detectives sent the rose for forensic analysis, but technology in 2000 was primitive. They found no usable fingerprints, no saliva traces, no DNA, nothing. The text message remained the most chilling clue. "I know what you did." Investigators tried to interpret the meaning. What had Emily done? Was it blackmail, a prank from a classmate, a warning from someone she feared?
Her best friend, Megan Olson, told police that Emily had been distracted in the weeks before prom. She had been on her phone often, texting someone Megan didn't recognize. I asked her once, and she just laughed it off, said it was someone she met online. Older, funny, kind of mysterious. Detectives traced her online activity to a public forum used by college students and young adults. She had exchanged private messages with a user named SilverFox79. The account was deleted days before her disappearance. No IP address, no profile picture, no leads. The officers who investigated that digital trail described it as like chasing smoke. In late June, a jogger reported seeing a woman in a blue dress near the old Ridgefield quarry. Dozens of officers combed the area. They found nothing. The witness later admitted it might have been just the light. Next, a trucker passing through Interstate 5 claimed to have seen a girl resembling Emily hitchhiking near a rest stop. That, too, went nowhere. The security camera footage from that location was overwritten before investigators could review it. Each lead began to feel more desperate than the last. The case was draining the department's morale. The FBI joined briefly in early July, but withdrew after determining there was no evidence Emily had crossed state lines. Detective Mercer grew obsessed. He drove the Cedar Lake roads late into the night, headlights slicing through fog, pulling over to stare at the still water, as if the lake itself might one day whisper the truth. But the truth stayed silent. By August, national media had picked up the story. "Prom night mystery, where is Emily Carter?" read one headline. TV vans lined the streets. Reporters interviewed classmates at the high school gates. Overnight, Emily's disappearance became a spectacle, but her family was left behind in the quiet aftermath of every news cycle. Susan Carter appeared on camera, her eyes hollow but determined. "Someone out there knows what happened," she said. "If you have a daughter, imagine not knowing where she is. Imagine the sound of the front door never opening again." As days bled into weeks, suspicion began to turn inward. Rumors circulated that Emily might have run away, a theory her mother fiercely rejected. She was happy, excited about college, about life, Susan told reporters. She wouldn't just leave. Still, whispers grew. People began questioning each other. Parents forbade their children from walking home after dark. Prom nights across Oregon grew quieter in the years that followed. Ridgefield's innocence had been buried somewhere near Cedar Lake, and no one knew if it would ever be found again.
In early September 2000, nearly 4 months after Emily vanished, a pair of hikers found a woman's shoe deep within Cedar Lake Forest. Investigators rushed to the scene. It was Emily's size, but not her shoe. Another dead end. However, during the search, one officer noticed something strange. About 50 yards from the original crime scene, a patch of disturbed soil. They dug carefully, hoping, dreading. Nothing but animal bones. Forensics teams cataloged everything. The case file grew thicker. The answers did not. By winter, Ridgefield moved on. The banners came down. Reporters left. Only Susan Carter remained relentless. She called the police station weekly, often in tears, asking if anything new had come up. She was the only one who never let go. Detective Mercer would later admit, even when we did. In early 2001, a call came from Seattle. A man claimed to have found a silver bracelet near a motel dumpster, engraved with the initials EC. Investigators raced north, hearts pounding, only to discover it was a piece of costume jewelry from a thrift store. The disappointment was crushing. With no suspects, no body, and no forensic evidence, the case was officially marked cold in 2002. Detective Mercer filed away the box marked Carter, Emily, missing person. He turned off the light in his office and went home that night, in silence. For Ridgefield, the nightmare faded into memory, but for the Carter family, it never ended.
To find out what happened after 25 years, hit the subscribe button, like and share, then check the next video link in the description below.